The story of Israel is a long and complex one, spanning millennia and encompassing a rich tapestry of events, cultures, and traditions. It is a tale that intertwines the destinies of a people and their land in a way that is both unique and profound. It is a story deeply rooted in ancient history, with evidence of human habitation in the region dating back thousands of years. The land of Israel has been a crossroads of civilizations, a place where different cultures and peoples have left their mark. For thousands of years, the land of Israel has held profound significance for the Jewish people. It is a place where their ancestors lived, worshipped, and built a society that has influenced the world in countless ways. This connection is deeply spiritual, cultural, and historical. It is a bond that has been maintained through centuries of change, conflict, and dispersion. The Jewish people trace their origins back to Abraham, a figure who is revered not only in Judaism, but also in Christianity and Islam. Abraham's journey to the land of Canaan is a foundational story in Jewish tradition. Abraham is considered the patriarch of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. His legacy is one of faith, obedience, and a covenant with God that would shape the destiny of his descendants. According to Jewish tradition, God made a covenant with Abraham, promising him that his descendants would inherit the land of Canaan. This covenant is a central theme in the Jewish narrative and has been passed down through generations. This covenant promised the land of Canaan, later known as Israel, to his descendants. It is a promise that has been remembered and revered throughout Jewish history. This covenant is a foundational element of Jewish belief. It is a testament to the enduring relationship between the Jewish people and their God, and it has been a source of hope and inspiration through the ages. The land of Israel is where the kingdoms of Israel and Judah flourished centuries later. These kingdoms were centers of political, religious, and cultural life for the Jewish people. King David united the 12 tribes of Israel and established Jerusalem as the capital. His reign is often seen as a golden age in Jewish history, a time of unity and prosperity. His son, King Solomon, built the first temple in Jerusalem. This temple became the central place of worship for the Jewish people, a symbol of their faith and their connection to God. This temple became the central place of worship for the Jewish people. It was a place where they could come together to celebrate their faith and their heritage. Despite periods of exile and conquest, the Jewish people's connection to the land of Israel persisted. They faced many challenges, but their bond with the land remained unbroken. They never forgot their ancestral home. The longing to return to Israel was a constant theme in Jewish prayers, literature, and traditions. This enduring bond played a crucial role in shaping their identity and aspirations for centuries. It influenced their culture, their religious practices, and their sense of community. The yearning to return to Zion, a poetic name for Jerusalem and the land of Israel, became a central theme in Jewish prayers and literature. It was a source of hope and inspiration for generations. The land of Israel became a place of pilgrimage. Jews from around the world would travel to the land to connect with their heritage and their faith. Jews from around the world yearned to return. This longing was a powerful force that helped to sustain their identity and their sense of purpose. This deep connection formed the bedrock upon which the Zionist movement would later emerge. The dream of returning to the land of Israel became a reality for many Jews in the modern era. It laid the foundation for the eventual re-establishment of a Jewish state in their ancient homeland. In 1948, the State of Israel was established, fulfilling a dream that had been nurtured for centuries. By the late 19th century, a new movement began to take shape: Zionism. This movement was not just a political endeavor, but a profound cultural and social awakening for the Jewish people. Zionism arose in response to the escalating persecution and discrimination faced by Jews across Europe. The Jewish communities were often confined to ghettos, marginalized, and subjected to systemic injustices. This persecution took many forms, from legal restrictions to violent pogroms. Pogroms, which were organized massacres, left deep scars on the Jewish psyche and underscored the urgent need for a safe haven. Zionism, a political and national movement, advocated for the establishment of a Jewish state. This state would serve as a sanctuary where Jews could live freely and practice their culture without fear of persecution. This state would be a haven for Jews facing oppression. The vision was to create a place where Jewish identity could flourish and where future generations could grow up in peace and security. The movement's founder, Theodor Herzl, played a pivotal role in its development. Herzl's vision and leadership were instrumental in transforming Zionism from a dream into a tangible political movement. Herzl, a Jewish journalist living in Vienna, was deeply troubled by the anti-Semitism he witnessed. His experiences in Vienna, a city rife with anti-Jewish sentiment, shaped his resolve to find a solution for his people. The Dreyfus Affair, in which a Jewish French army officer was falsely accused of treason, had a profound impact on him. This scandal highlighted the deep-rooted anti-Semitism in European society and convinced Herzl that assimilation was not the answer. He came to believe that the only solution to anti-Semitism was the creation of a Jewish state. Herzl's conviction grew stronger as he saw the persistent and pervasive nature of anti-Jewish hatred. Herzl published a pamphlet called The Jewish State in 1896. This seminal work laid out his vision for a Jewish homeland and became a cornerstone of Zionist ideology. This pamphlet galvanized the Zionist movement. It inspired Jews around the world to rally behind the cause and work towards the establishment of a Jewish state. In it, he argued that Jews needed a state of their own. Herzl's arguments were compelling and resonated with many who had experienced the harsh realities of anti-Semitism. He believed this would grant them the security and self-determination they lacked in Europe. A Jewish state would provide a sense of belonging and a place where Jewish culture and traditions could thrive. Herzl organized the First Zionist Congress in Basel, Switzerland in 1897. This historic event marked the formal beginning of the Zionist movement as a political force. This Congress brought together Jewish leaders from across the world. It was a momentous occasion that united diverse Jewish communities under a common goal. They adopted the Basel Program. This program outlined the strategic objectives of Zionism and set the stage for future efforts to establish a Jewish homeland. This program outlined the goals of Zionism and called for the creation of a Jewish homeland in Palestine. The choice of Palestine was deeply rooted in Jewish history and religious tradition. The Zionist movement gained momentum in the early 20th century. As the movement grew, so did the number of Jews willing to leave their homes in search of a new beginning in Palestine. Thousands of Jews, driven by both idealism and desperation, began to immigrate to Palestine. These immigrants were motivated by the hope of building a better future for themselves and their descendants. These early pioneers faced immense challenges. They encountered harsh environmental conditions, limited resources, and often hostile surroundings. They drained swamps, cultivated the land, and established the foundations for a future state. Their hard work and determination laid the groundwork for what would eventually become the State of Israel. The seeds of modern Israel were being sown. Through their perseverance and vision, these early Zionists turned a centuries-old dream into a reality, setting the stage for the birth of a nation. World War I brought about seismic shifts in the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East. The war, which lasted from 1914 to 1918, saw the collapse of long-standing empires and the redrawing of borders across the globe. The Ottoman Empire, which had ruled Palestine for centuries, crumbled under the weight of military defeat and internal strife. This once mighty empire, which had controlled vast territories across the Middle East, North Africa, and Southeast Europe, was now a shadow of its former self. Control of the region fell into the hands of the victorious Allied powers. The British and French, in particular, sought to carve out spheres of influence in the Middle East, leading to new political realities and tensions. In 1920, the League of Nations granted Great Britain a mandate over Palestine. This mandate was part of a broader system of mandates that aimed to administer former Ottoman territories until they could stand alone as independent nations. This mandate charged Britain with the responsibility of administering the territory. The British were to oversee the development of Palestine, ensuring the well-being and advancement of its inhabitants. The mandate also obligated them to facilitate the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people. This was a significant and controversial aspect of the mandate, reflecting the influence of the Zionist movement and the promises made during the war. The Balfour Declaration, issued by the British government in 1917, added another layer of complexity to the situation. This declaration was a pivotal moment in the history of the region, setting the stage for future conflicts and political developments. This declaration, in a letter from British Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour to Lord Rothschild, a prominent Zionist leader, expressed the British government's support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. It was a brief but powerful statement that had far-reaching implications. The Balfour Declaration, while welcomed by the Zionist movement, was met with mixed reactions from the Arab population in Palestine. For the Jewish community, it was a beacon of hope and a step towards the realization of their aspirations. Many Arabs viewed it as a betrayal by the British. They felt that their own rights and aspirations were being ignored in favor of the Zionist cause. They felt it disregarded their own national aspirations. The Arab population had long-standing ties to the land and sought self-determination in the wake of the Ottoman Empire's collapse. The British found themselves caught between their commitments to both the Jewish and Arab populations. This delicate balancing act proved to be a significant challenge for British administrators. Tensions between the two communities grew, fueled by competing claims to the land and increasing Jewish immigration. The influx of Jewish immigrants, driven by the promise of a national home, heightened the sense of urgency and conflict. The stage was set for a conflict that would escalate in the decades to come. The British Mandate period was marked by growing unrest, as both Jewish and Arab communities sought to assert their rights and fulfill their national aspirations. This complex and often contentious history laid the groundwork for the ongoing conflict in the region. The horrors of World War II, particularly the Holocaust, had a profound impact on the Zionist movement and the fate of the Jewish people. The systematic genocide perpetrated by Nazi Germany against Jews across Europe shocked the world. It highlighted the urgency of finding a safe haven for Jewish refugees. The Holocaust claimed the lives of 6 million Jews, wiping out a third of the global Jewish population. This genocide left a scar on the soul of humanity. It also strengthened the resolve of many Jews to seek refuge and rebuild their lives in their ancient homeland. The Holocaust led to a surge in Jewish immigration to Palestine. Many survivors, displaced and traumatized, saw Palestine as their only hope. Their arrival, however, further exacerbated tensions with the Arab population. The British, struggling to maintain order, faced increasing pressure from both sides. The plight of Holocaust survivors seeking refuge in Palestine captured the attention of the international community. The world was forced to confront the consequences of anti-Semitism and the urgent need for a solution to the plight of the Jewish people. These factors played a significant role in shaping the debate over the future of Palestine in the post-war years.